Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you push to the very last moment the performance review topic? HR is sending you constantly reminders and you simply don't have the time to do this? Then this video is for you. I'm Vessela, Executive People Leader, Coach and Trainer. Welcome to Leadership Bites by Mindful Concepts. Today we are going to uncover the performance reviews, but let's first uncover why performance reviews are important. There are even many organizations that don't have them. Sometimes I hear from my clients that they're too small to eventually develop such kind of program. It feels process heavy, or sometimes not having enough people, or maybe just ticking the box. But actually, important thing to know about performance reviews is that this is the moment where you as a leader or as an organization can zoom out from the working process, can take a moment to reflect and to see who are your people, with who are you working with. That is what performance review is actually about. A reflection for you as a leader or for you as an organization. So sometimes there are companies that are considering performance review just a work from the HR, somebody pushing them to do something without even thinking that that is so important, or that is work that is done in organizations that are above 500 or 1,000 people. When is the right time to do performance reviews in your organization? I think it is any time when you're having people working for you, people that count on you, and there is some kind of business that you are developing. Whether it is a team of 10, 20, 300 or 1,000 people. I know with 1,000 people it is usually top of mind that yes, we need that because we are then heavy on processes, but even with 10 people, do you want to be the organization and the leader who is always expecting a knock on the door when somebody comes and says, hey, my lifestyle improved and I want more money, or I want that role, without having the chance to review the entire team and where are your best people and are they positioned in the best way? That's where performance review comes in place. Your moment to stop for a moment, to zoom out from the daily work and project and to reflect. Who are my best people? Who is that talker that I can put heading my sales? Who is that great administrator that I can also put in the role to organize how my work is going or how my back office is working? Or where are those people that I can really count on to be the backbone of the organization? Each of them are important for you and are important for the organization. And you want to be fair with them. You don't want to promote those that are shouting the loudest, but you want to be fair and make sure that you are focusing the strengths of your people in the right place. Or eventually you are redirecting them of where they can do the best job for you. That's what we are talking today. See the performance review as a two-way street. This is a moment where you're going to reflect and provide a feedback to someone, but then they're also providing it to you. So make sure you're also prepared to receive it. Let's go back to how you're actually preparing. The best way to prepare for the performance review is to see it as something you need to reflect on based on 3 important steps. One is focus on the positive. Then consider what do you think the person should work on improving, and then look into the future. Talking about the positive sides of the feedback, this means everything that you think the person has been doing throughout the entire review period, whether it is 6 months, 1 year, some companies are also doing it every 3 months. Anyway, everything that the person has been doing and they're doing great and they need to keep on doing it, or they need to do even more. And always come with examples. Anna, the time when you jumped in on that project and you drag it through the finish line was amazing. This helped the team feel empowered, and also we got extra hands to make sure this is really going in the right direction. Thank you, and keep on doing it. Thank you is always a good moment where you can show not only recognition to the person, but say that you really appreciate what they're doing. Even if you said it 3 months ago when it happened, hopefully you said it 3 months ago when it happened, it is always good to once again mention it to the person and encourage them to do more of what you really think makes a difference for the entire team. This also shows, I see you. I know that you've been doing it, and I've been eventually waiting for this moment to once again emphasize on the importance of you being part of the team or the way you're fulfilling the work. And think of all the other situations where you experience something very positive with your colleagues. What can help you also is to look at calendar invitations or different projects you've been working with the team, try to go back and to collect as many as possible of such experiences that you would like to give to that person as a feedback and to say, you are doing great there. The next part of the feedback, usually the more hard one for managers to deal with, is the constructive one. Some managers call it negative feedback or critique or something in those lines. That usually doesn't sit well with the person. Just imagine yourself being on the other side. You are hearing from your manager, oh, I have a few critiques to share with you. What is going to be your reaction? Perfect, tell me about that? Or would it be rather, critiques from all the good work I'm doing and now I'm hearing a critique? You see, that's not a great place to be. So try to think about it as a constructive, something where the people can build on, construct, in order to get even better. Something that is rather changing the course of action in order to make sure the person is sailing in the right way, if we take the sailing jargon here. Similar to the positive feedback, think of those projects where the person could do even better, where the person is having shortfalls and you believe they can actually work with them. And give those examples to the person. Ideally, the person has been hearing also before your feedback and where they need to improve, but the performance review is the moment where you can package all this together and show the bigger picture. Because sometimes an instant behavior is not marking the entire path of a person. Therefore, performance review comes in place where we show the bigger picture. So, a good thing is when you're thinking about a performance review and the constructive part, also to use the SBI model. In that situation, your behavior impacted in this and that way. For example, Tom, remember that case when we were talking about the project and you said that that's not something you want to do? It felt like you were letting down the team. And this is something that I would like that you focus in a different way. We could discuss in advance, or eventually you can share a bit more of what makes you not feel comfortable to work on this, but just to say you're not doing it was really letting down the entire team. And that's not a behavior that I would like to see more of you. Your strengths are, you see, focusing the person in where they could do better. You organize the team, you're bringing the fun, you're perfect in the calculations. And this is how you can bring the person into redirecting the course of behavior in order to get better. Usually when you say be less of this, is not sitting well with the person. But do more of that is the right way to make the person really understand. Both positive and constructive feedback go hand in hand. There are also some models that are saying that you always need to say something positive, then something constructive, or negative is in that model, and then again positive, the so-called sandwich. I highly recommend you to rather not use that one, because sometimes you are sugarcoating too much the feedback that you really want this person to receive. So better focus on what exactly you want to tell to the person and just tell it to them. Say it with enough respect so that they could really understand what you mean, but also that they would really work on the improvement for themselves. Ideally, the discussion over positive and constructive feedback should not happen once or twice a year, but should happen timely, which means close to the moment of action where you would like to provide the feedback. Positive feedback, best way, is to come also as a praising publicly. So great, that was a great job, you do it perfectly, and make sure that the entire team knows what kind of behavior you would like to promote into the team. While constructive feedback should be given in private, usually one-on-one or with the people that are affected from the situation. Again, timely, but make sure you're still keeping the face of the person. And these, best is to happen close to the moment. So don't wait an entire year and surprise the person, especially with the constructive feedback, so that they feel kind of attacked. This should be a call of action to say, I see you, I see where your potential is and how you can grow. And this is something that the person needs to feel empowered to do. Now, talking about the grow comes the time for the last pillar, or this is the development talk. How do you see the future? You've already talked about the past, talking about positive and constructive feedback, but very important part of the conversation is, how do I see that we grow together? How do I want the person to develop, and in what role I see that person growing? This cannot happen too often because sometimes organization is small and there is not much room or business reason for a person to grow. But often, even in bigger organizations I've been working with, there is not so much opportunities that a manager can speak with a person more than once a year to talk about development. Of course, there are those exceptions where the manager needs to have enough information about the team and the performance and potential of their team members in order to suggest them for any promotion. But these are rather exceptional moments and certain business needs where the manager needs to have the overview. But the development talk, as I said, needs to happen once a year, or at least once a year with the person. What does it mean? Development talk is usually the time where we say, I know all the strengths and weaknesses of my team and my person that I'm going to speak with, and this is how I see them develop. Development on the usual way goes into hierarchy. I make my best salesperson the team lead. They usually fail in that moment. Or I make my best performer be responsible for one of the most important projects that I have. Usually that also doesn't go well. Knowing your people is essential for preparing for the development talk. That means you may have your best salesperson, but they're lacking these organizational and people skills in order to lead an entire team, or in order to be good enough to record all the great things and great way that they're performing their job. Make sure that you're also listening to the person. Are they at all willing to develop as people managers, or there is another way? Development can go in both directions. On the expert track, where a person is individual contributor and they go very deep into the area where they're really doing great, and they could still develop there. There are new technologies, new skills, new ways, bigger projects that they could work on, and they could still be individual contributor because they feel the most safe into doing this. Or people that can grow into a leadership role and they are having the responsibility and the persona to actually engage other people and help them grow and develop them further. You need to be clear for yourself in which path do you want to see the person in order to start a development talk. Next to it, it's also important to be clear if the organization can provide this development. Maybe you're having an amazing person ready to step in the next leadership role, but there is no business need for that. Make sure you are clarifying this. First, eventually, on the organizational side, do I have room for developing that person there? Or if not, how would I like to further continue motivating that person? One of the ways is also to make them your best successor when you're on vacation or when you're busy with other projects and you need somebody to take care of the topics that you are taking care. Start a development talk not only by saying what do you think the person can develop, but eventually ask them, have you been reflecting on the past 1 year? What are your ideas? What are your aspirations? How do you see yourself in developing? And listen carefully what the person is saying. Do they want to work on that project? Do they want to develop eventually new skills? Or do they want to lead a team? And get it from there. Share what your intention is. Even if the person doesn't want to develop as a people leader, although you see there is such chance, share with them. I've been seeing you in that direction. But if you don't feel comfortable or you don't feel ready, I'm happy to go with your suggestion. Listen carefully and try to combine. This is the best way to also get a buy-in from the person of how they can develop in the future. At the end of the day, development talk is not just about how much a salary of somebody is going to improve or what new position they're going to get, but it is rather how the person would feel happy, or in which way the person is going to feel happy to continue working with you in the team they are or in the organization they are. Important is to have your reflection and to listen to the other reflection. But most importantly is to have a genuine interest on the person, to say, I see you and I really want to help you develop further. Sounds like a lot of work to prepare for performance review, right? But actually, it is not that much. Indeed, in the beginning, it's always harder, especially to plan a routine for yourself of how to prepare for the performance review, to go back through meetings, projects, and certain successes that you've been observing. But actually, it pays back. Only the first time is harder, and then it helps you create a routine. So don't keep it for next time or for later, but set enough time and just trust in your team, because they trust in you and they trust that you are going to genuinely sit on that meeting and provide them a feedback. And they will be the ones that after that are going to catch your back, eventually save a lot of your time and work on those improvement paths or the development that you have discussed, which is going to free more time for yourself, for more bigger projects and more successes. With or without special time for performance reviews in your company, I highly recommend you that you try to make it as a routine for yourself. See it like some kind of a management hygiene, where once a month or at least once a quarter, you're setting enough time to just calm down, to stop for a moment, zoom out from the daily madness that you're facing, and to think about your team. Imagine time when you were thinking about yourself, oh, I need to hire more people because job is not getting done. We are having too many projects. But usually the answer is not about hiring more people, which are taking more time from yourself, being their manager, but rather zooming out and thinking how you can do it best. And reflecting on your people would help you also structure better your projects, your team, and plan in a way that you could even manage with the same amount of people even bigger projects. So set a time once a month, once a quarter. Think about your team. There are multiple management tools that you could use, or even these 3 simple steps, as I mentioned. Think about the positive, constructive, and the way you want to develop people, or in this case, it could be even a project. And make sure you're taking the next step for your leadership. If you find this video helpful, subscribe and come back for more leadership shorts.